There she is. Time to take back what's mine.
So, I don't know about you, but EA just released this new trailer for Need for Speed Unbound Volume 9, and the trailer went crazy. Every single thing they've added to this game in the second year of support has been pointing towards a Need for Speed Most Wanted themed volume update. And so now that it's finally here, I don't know how to feel. Now, the volume officially comes out on the 26th of November. I was really excited for this volume. I was waiting and I had genuinely given up because they said nothing. Originally, the calendar said that this volume was supposed to come out in October. Right now, it is pretty much December and they just announced it. I don't think that the volume is what we expected in terms of a Need for Speed Unbound update. I think a lot of us thought that we would get something related to Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. We thought that we would get a blacklist. That's what I thought, because they have the league races. I thought they were gonna transition the league into some type of a blacklist. They could have brought back the old characters, they could have brought new ones. And if you look at the league, it's pretty much a blacklist. Like, I thought Volume 9 would be similar to Volume 7, where Volume 7 was pretty much Need for Speed Underground. EA decided to go ahead and give us a completely new game mode. This game has been super innovative compared to many other racing games, and it raises the question of innovation in racing games and what that looks like. What does innovation look like in racing games? Because racing games as a genre has been a very stagnant genre that doesn't change too much. Things usually stay the same in racing games. The last thing that was on my bucket list for the holidays this year was an extraction racing game mode. Extraction games are kind of like the battle royale of video games right now. You know, if everyone remembers when PUBG came out and everyone was trying to make a battle royale, Fortnite came out, many other games came out, and so that's what extraction games became with Escape from Tarkov, where everyone's trying to make their own extraction game. But I didn't think Need for Speed would be the ones to do it. I genuinely didn't. When you think extraction, you don't think a car racing game. And so I'm really excited for this new lockdown racing mod, because it's gonna be a really cool opportunity to drive cars in a different way, you know? So I'm really excited for the new lockdown mod, because that's what I thought something like the Eliminator in Forza Horizon 4 when they introduced it would be. I thought it would be like this really cool new way to play a racing game that really doesn't exist anywhere else. I think Need for Speed Unbound has proven to those of us who are still playing that gameplay is king. It's not necessarily content that brings people back, it's gameplay. The other new things that are coming in this update, we have a Subaru 22B, the legendary, one of the most iconic rally cars and honestly like two-door cars in history. And then we get an Integra DC2. So I feel like this car should have been in the Need for Speed Underground update, but I'm not complaining because I think they're a really good addition to this Most Wanted update. Something else that we are getting is, for the first time in a Need for Speed game, we're getting bikes. We are getting bikes. It's a very untapped niche when it comes to open world racing games. Like, we have a lot of really cool car racing games from an open world point of view, and the crew was very revolutionary in introducing the ability to be able to drive planes and boats and motorcycles and all of these other things. Right now, I feel like for anyone who loves motorcycles and you want to play a video game about motorcycles, you have next to nothing, you know? And so Need for Speed potentially incorporating motorcycles into the future of the franchise, I think, is a really cool opportunity. Need for Speed is how I became a car guy. Before Need for Speed, I didn't know anything about cars. Everything I know about cars right now, I originally learned, unfortunately, in Need for Speed Most Wanted. I mean, Need for Speed Most Wanted wasn't my first Need for Speed. I pretty much played every Need for Speed from Need for Speed 2 onwards, but Need for Speed Most Wanted is when I learned about tuning, it's when I learned about car culture, it's when I learned about muscle cars versus exotics and all of that stuff. So I've always been interested in motorcycles, and while I do know the basics, I don't really know much about bikes. And so I think I'm excited that as they continue to add motorcycles to Need for Speed, it's gonna give an opportunity to people like me who really love bikes but know nothing about them to really learn and to like go deeper into that untapped hobby. Another thing that I think is really cool about bikes is, if you think, again, Need for Speed, as cheesy as the stories usually are, is still one of the very few car racing games that still tries to do a storyline of some sort. You could even think of the league races as some type of like a very loose storyline. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to play through a Need for Speed campaign and choose whether you wanna finish the campaign in a motorcycle? Like, do you wanna finish the campaign in your Kawasaki Ninja, or do you wanna finish the campaign in your Aston Martin, or do you wanna finish the campaign in your Lamborghini, or do you wanna finish the campaign in your Nissan Silvia shitbox, you know? And so I think that's the really cool opportunity with Need for Speed, is you can take a vehicle and you can really make it your own, you know? It's not like a lot of these other racing games that really focus more so on the car collector point of view. This focuses more so on you creating a bond and a relationship with the machine that you drive. All in all, to say, I think Volume 9 is exciting, but it's exciting for different reasons than I expected. I expected nostalgia. I expected that Volume 9 will be a look at the past of Need for Speed. But honestly, it's about the future, surprisingly. I think that the only thing that really connects Volume 9 to Need for Speed Most Wanted is just the name and the BMW M3 GTR. Honestly, I feel like if you removed both the name and the BMW M3 GTR, the update has really nothing to do with Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think, in conclusion, the game is in a good place. And I hope that the franchise is in a good place. Unfortunately, that's a little bit more difficult to tell, because that depends on what the suits at EA decide. So I feel like Criterion right now is in a really good place, not only with understanding the franchise of Need for Speed and understanding what the fans want out of Need for Speed. I think they're also at a good place in terms of, from a mechanics point of view, being able to build a strong future for Need for Speed. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see where they take it. Well, thanks for watching this video. I hope to see you next time. By the way, thank you. And with that, peace.
As if this could ever hold her. Take what you want, but bring her to me.
On the streets, drive safely and responsibly.